bringing the people behind our food to life.
My grandfather, he was a dairy farmer, and then my dad took the farm over from him. Back then when he grew up, there were no milking machines, so it was hand milking. A lot harder work. It's a demanding but an enjoyable lifestyle. You know, it's 7 days a week, it's all year long. The cows have to be milked twice a day. There's some physical labor that you get to do. There's some mental labor you get to do. You know, you get to work with the cows, and they're most of the time enjoyable. And so, you know, I think he came to that whole realization that that was a nice way to raise a family. And I'm glad he came to that realization, because it enabled me to eventually get into farming as well. I often say if you don't grow up on a dairy farm, you're probably not going to be a dairy farmer, because it's a rhythm. It's you know, the rhythm of life with the cows milking and calving and the whole thing. In the wintertime, they're in the barn. When grass isn't growing, if you're not mowing your lawn, my cows don't have anything out here to eat, basically. And then usually March is when we get back out on the grass. And then it depends on what happens in the weather. If it rains too hard, then the cows have to come back up to the barn. And that's what we call the dance, because we'll dance them out of the barn, back into the barn as the weather permits. But this time of the year I sleep with my bedroom window open so I can hear the rain start in the middle of the night. So I don't like having to go out and get the cows in the middle of the night, but if it rains really hard, they don't like it. You know, they're not happy out here. And my job is to keep them happy, I guess. They've kind of trained me, I think. Not me the other way around. But that's how it is with animals. Anybody who has a dog that wakes them up in the middle of the night understands what that's all about. Cows are pretty aware of where they are on the food chain and things. You know, they know they're prey, not predator. So, you know, that gives them a little wariness, but they're also very curious. And the Jerseys are the most curious of the bunch. This is my superstar cow here. This is Rosie. She's an old girl. She's probably my favorite cow of all times, aren't you, Rosie? She's a great milker, and she's got personality all over the place, and she's pretty cow to boot. She's got everything going for her. My grandfather, he was one that really, even though he had passed away by the time I made my decision to become an organic dairy farmer, he was the one that really tilted the scales, because I thought about it. You know, he was an organic dairy farmer. He just didn't know that's what it was called and didn't get paid any different for it. You know, because there were no pesticides when he was farming, and there was no antibiotics and no commercial fertilizers, and he grazed his cows, and you know, so that was, I figured, boy, you know, I hope the generations don't get dumber as we go along. I can maybe build on what Grandpa did. My grandfather left a good legacy. You know, I tell my kids, you know, that's the most important thing. Leave a good legacy. You know, leave the people, when people hear the Bansen name in the dairy industry, I want them to say, you know, those guys, they knew what they're doing.